My point is that all of that was in the pipeline before Monday's speech. All of that was in the pipeline when the country went to the polls last Thursday. This changed nothing. There were no additions, no sign that what Starmer told us on Monday was now actually going to be part of the government going forward. That's my point.
And I think the thing is that you've mentioned incrementalism, and you
No,
say
Mr. Starmer did.
you've said that this is an incremental.
In this video, we see exactly what happens when a seasoned political heavyweight corners a new Labour MP who is entirely out of his depth. Keir Starmer promised the country an end to incrementalism and a bold new era of government. But when his first King's speech delivered nothing but the same old tinkering, Andrew Neil wasn't going to let it slide. He dragged Labour MP Patrick Harley over the coals, exposing the glaring hypocrisy, the lack of actual policy and the internal civil war that is already tearing the new government apart.
Long time coming. As the Starmer soap opera continues to consume Westminster, it's not clear who's running the country. Ministers would have us believe they are. We're just getting on with the job, they insist, though in truth much of their time is spent hatching the next twists and turns in the soap opera saga. Can't be said that their attention is fully on the day job. Perhaps the civil service is getting on with it, I hear you say, and maybe it is. But much of Whitehall still spends a lot of time, 2-3 days a week, working from home. So it's hard to tell. Even though the government constantly reminds us that we're in the midst of 2 major wars, I'm told that some days there's tumbleweed blowing through even the Ministry of Defence.
Before getting to the MP, Neil laid out the brutal reality of Starmer's government. While the world faces serious threats, Westminster is already consumed by its own factional soap opera, and the civil service is practically empty.
Labour MP for Southport. Patrick Hurley, on Monday Keir Starmer told us incrementalism just didn't cut it. But that was a King's speech packed with incrementalism, wasn't it?
I think it was a King's speech packed with good stuff for the country. And it's interesting how you've been speaking for 5 minutes and you're talking about the soap opera rather than what's actually in the King's speech. There's in the King's speech the things around Northern Powerhouse Rail, and competition reform, there's energy independence, there's nuclear regulation bill that's packed chock full of good stuff for the country, Andrew.
I'm not arguing whether these individual measures are good or bad. There's plenty of time to debate that. My point is that all of that was in the pipeline before Monday's speech. All of that was in the pipeline when the country went to the polls last Thursday. This changed nothing. There were no additions, no sign that what Starmer told us on Monday was now actually going to be part of the government going forward. That's my point.
And I think the thing is that you've mentioned incrementalism, and you say
Mr. Starmer did.
You've said that
the MP is visibly floundering, attempting to deflect by calling the speech chock full of good stuff. But Neil doesn't let him off the hook. Harley tries a new tactic, claiming that the public actually wants a boring managerial government. Watch closely as Neil instantly springs the trap, forcing Harley to explain how his boss can simultaneously attack incrementalism while delivering exactly that.
A long time coming. The Prime Minister and the government had plenty of time to prepare to reflect in the King's speech what he told the country on Monday, that the old ways didn't cut it. He was going to do the new ways. I mean, I think the problem for your side of the party, and I know you are loyally sticking with Keir Starmer, as are, so far as I can see, a majority of MPs. Your problem, I think, is that a lot of his critics will see this as, all right, Starmer talked the talk on Monday, but he still hasn't shown us that he can walk the walk.
You know, if the worst that people say about Keir Starmer is that he's a bit boring and managerialist and technocratic, then I'll take that, thanks. You know, we had charisma with Boris Johnson, we had chaos with Liz Truss. The last thing we need now is that all over again. Give me boring and steady as she goes any day of the week. You know, this is not a branch of the entertainment industry. This is not an actual soap opera here. This is running a country. We are one of the most you know, the largest economies in the world. We are globally significant. The last thing we need is this sort of who's up and who's down
Yeah.
commentary from the press and the media. And I know you've got a job to do, Andrew, but I'm sure secretly you
No,
agree
no,
with.
I'm looking not at the I am looking at the up and down, but I'm also looking at what's the policy fallout from Starmer's speech on Monday. And I don't say, you say give me boring anytime, give me cautious, all the rest after the fireworks of Johnson and the short-lived fireworks of Liz Truss. I get all that. But you can't say give me boring, give me caution, steady as she goes, but then say incrementalism doesn't cut it. I mean, you got to make up your mind as one or the other.
Well, but we're going to be nationalising the steel industry.
Having completely dismantled the MP's logic on policy, Neil twists the knife. He turns to the internal Labour chaos, confronting Hurley with the reality that Health Secretary Wes Streeting is reportedly already positioning for a leadership challenge.
On Times Radio. But to come back to the up and down bit, the ceasefire doesn't seem to be holding today, at least not off the record. Team Streeting is briefing that their man is about to resign and that Starmer will now face a leadership contest. Do you expect the Prime Minister to win?
I think Wes is a team player. He knows that politics is a team sport, and Wes is a very loyal team player.
He's about to resign.
Well, you said earlier, nothing is certain, and they haven't made any comments on the record, and they haven't made any comments on.
Patrick, they're briefing like mad that he's going to resign.
I mean, they may well
it's
be.
his people. It's his people.
They may well be, but people brief like mad, and then we've both been around long enough, Andrew, to realise that people brief like mad, and then what they've been briefing doesn't actually end up happening.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
I am not holding my breath to wait for any resignations from the cabinet or the Wes is going to be anything more than having his constituents and the country's interests at heart.
Does Wes Streeting have what it takes to be Prime Minister?
There are so many people across the PLP and beyond who've got a lot of what it takes to be Prime Minister. Probably, in my view, just not yet. We need to make sure that we knuckle down, get on with the job. There will be plenty of time for people to put their hat in the ring in due course, just not right now.
Okay, well, I don't think...
A masterclass in political accountability from Andrew Neil. He completely exposed the void at the heart of this new Labour government. They spent months claiming they were ready to govern, but within days they are delivering empty rhetoric and descending into factional infighting.